We'll do the prayer and the pledge, and then we can wait for that. Okay. Father, again, thank you for today, beautiful day you've given to us for the warm weather. Lord God, as we now go about the business of the city, we just ask that you guide and direct us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to welcome each and every one of you, and also those who might be watching us as we live stream our Stanton council meetings now. So I want to call to order our meeting here, City of Stanton, regular meeting at Stanton City Hall, March 13, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Our first item will be the approval of our February 13, 2025 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion for that?
Make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Our next item is public comments. Any public comments? Okay. We'll move on to the mayor's report. There's several things. A few months ago, we contracted with Hinkle to begin several of our streets resurfacing. I talked to him just a couple weeks ago. Should be trying to get started here as soon as the quarry will begin to let that happen. So we're going to be resurfacing Railroad Street, Blackburn, and West Elkins, and Church Street. And then also at the city park, we're going to be doing a ramp right there. So that hopefully will get started here. I've also requested additional funding for resurfacing other designated streets, East Halls Road, Moore Street, Strode Street, and Strain Street, and Molly Beat. So hopefully, in correspondence with kind of who's over this, hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll know whether we get that funding or not. Also, I mentioned last week that with our I&I Airport Sewer Project Phase 1 that we needed the state construction permit, and we have received that. That'll be February the 27th, we got that, and hopefully, according to our engineer, we'll put that out to bid here in the next couple of months. Also, the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, we have a state line item grant for water improvements project, Phase 2. I also got a letter that we have received, or that we are going to receive that. And on March the 7th, I got that. We do get assistance with that from Bluegrass Ad. And whenever you get these grant assistance agreements, they're about 30 or 40 pages. And so we've sent it to them. They're going to work through things they need to work through, and they'll get it to me, and we'll sign off on it. And then it's Nesbitt Engineering will hopefully, we're going to work with him in terms of prioritizing, kind of things that we want to do. It has to do with infrastructure, so water, sewer, and those kinds of things. Just an update on Frame Bridge. They still have employees there. They actually have about 25 employees there. Currently, only one shift. That's a day shift, 8 hours for those 25. But in October, they'll jump back up to 125. As they have 2 shifts like they had started weekends. So it's good that they're continuing to use that. They actually have closed off their or closing New Jersey, and so we're picking up a lot of that. So it's a good thing for us. I had to reschedule the city parking lot here to seal, cure, and stripe. We're going to try to do that on March the 22nd and 23rd. So we'll send out a little blurb on that. You should have received, you kind of commissioned me to be the one to come up with the safety for walkers. So this, I've been working with Brian Derrickson, and if you have that, maybe you don't, maybe you've seen it. These are some of the things we've come up with, so I'm just asking now for your input on that, and we can move ahead. This will be a brochure, it'll be cardstock. It can come in different forms. We can hand it out, obviously. We can do it here, we can do it elsewhere, we can put it on social media, our website, those kinds of things. So I'm waiting on the council, your thoughts on this. Anything stands out, anything you think needs to be changed, updated, those kind of things.
I myself, I like it. In any kind of events we have around town too, we could print off a bunch of them and try to hand them out as we get out amongst the public. And but I mean, this is a good start, I think, and it's very necessary because you know the safety of the folks is it's the main
Good to give out ball
concern.
games and.
Ball games or anything.
Yeah.
We can put it in businesses.
Yeah.
Right.
Or even let the schools pass them out to the kids, whether they make
Especially
them
the
home or
ones that
not.
walk
but-
to school,
Yeah.
No walkers.
the walkers,
We
walkers.
could put some there at the school, high school, middle school,
Yeah.
elementary schools.
Have we thought about purchasing some yellow vests and making them available?
Yeah, I was gonna bring that to you
Okay.
up next,
Okay,
but I just wanted to get kind of input on this. If you think it's okay, we can move ahead with it. It'll be on both sides, so you'll have pedestrian safety, driver awareness, and safety tips for pedestrians on the other side.
And
Okay?
Ted Post said he was gonna ask the company he works for if they would give our.
Yeah, I'll give you an update on that.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, in terms of the vests, Chad, he did say that they would actually go ahead and do it, but he said they're working through the kind of the process and thinking about it. I also did checking on Amazon, you can get them there for $9.99. I think it's kind of a, you know, typical vest with colors and stuff. But as soon as he know, he'll let me know. You know,
Yeah.
so. Okay. All right, also just kind of let you know, there's a fire hydrant that got run over there, up on the corner of South Sipple and West College. That's just laying there, but we had to deal with the insurance company. We've got that resolved, and that's gonna be hopefully worked on this week. That'll be a full replacement on that fire hydrant. Okay. The next one is the discussion of the employee educational incentive proposal. I'll ask, if you want to go ahead and make some comments about that?
I guess we'd probably just need to pick back up on our discussion, from last time. I think the hangup is, the amounts, like whether it's a set monetary amount or it's a percentage.
and then probably with the department heads of,
Can we capture the information?
you know, what we would need to, what they would want, you know, I think,
So if we did a dollar amount, like, I know that we talked about capping it at 10%. If we did a dollar amount, what would that dollar amount look like over the career?
that's kind of what
You gotta have to have all the numbers from each department to see.
what are we looking at?
No, I'm talking about like capping it across the board, like, so the original proposal was capping it at 10% max over the career. They could go in increments to get to 10%. If we did, and I think the last time, correct me if I'm wrong, the council was concerned about the percentage and it being unfair of a higher paid employee getting more than a lower paid employee. So if we did dollar amounts and we did it like 25 cents for this training, 50 cents for this one, what would we cap it at? Would we cap it at $2 or somewhere around there? I don't know what we need to also think about what we can afford on that.
Yeah.
Which it's currently written that submissions are due by March, in order to go into next year, so we would have time to.
Then some of the other things like, already there's certain things we give, say $1 more an hour if they get this license, we need to put them all in one.
Yeah, those need to be worked in there.
Yeah, they need to be worked in together, cause I know, you know, once you get, I know Richard's got them and there's some water, they get so much more an hour when they pass these classes.
Right.
So we'd have to just work all that in.
Put them all into the
Yeah.
incentive package.
Yeah,
And then you have to,
because if you say pass this test, if Richard's already got paid that $1 in the past or something,
So there's some work to do there.
Yeah.
yeah,
Do we
just some
have-
leg work.
then
do
you
we
have
that
to
information?
figure in like retirement and stuff like that, because that's gonna affect their retirement, the higher wage, right?
Yeah, anytime there's a
Yeah,
raise, it's
anytime.
the
So
retirement's
if they're,
going
you know, it's not just if they're getting $1, then we'd be paying in $1.50, you know, whatever, what is it, on places like 40%,
It's going down to 35.
going down 35, but it would actually, you have to consider in what extra money it's gonna be besides just that, because we don't wanna extend ourselves on money and then not be able to,
I think it's a good thing, 'cause the more educated workforce you have, I think
yeah.
you're gonna be better off in the long run anyway, especially.
Absolutely, and given the incentive
I know with the water,
to
water,
retain those folks.
with like the water people now, we still have to keep Rub because he's the only one got those licenses.
License, yeah.
So that's something we need to push, and you can get this
To
much
pursue.
more, and get this license, so I think that's a really good, maybe we can put together with Teresa how much we've given in the past. I know it's not a written, is it a written?
It's more verbal, isn't it? Yeah,
It's been more of a verbal
Yeah.
agreement between the mayor and the employees, you know, you'll go get this, we'll give you $2 more, so. But I think if we
What you're
set a
saying,
rate,
Billy, it's hard to commit to an amount without having everything in front of you to look at.
Everything,
I
yeah.
can see how it impacts the budget down the road with having to match the
Would-
funds.
so right now,
Would our department chairs or heads have
I would think they'd have a lot of say in that,
information of?
but
That's what we need.
Yeah, I mean, I've got different ideas about, I've got mixed emotions about that. Even as far as like just retention, I don't know if y'all people talk about just years of service. Kind of like the state police does, state police do,
Yeah.
they give a raise on the odd years. But, I'm trying to think, you got somebody,
You got a raise in state police?
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's right. I don't know, I'm just thinking, you got somebody saying, hey, you know, if you take this class, you can get a raise, and either one, that class is filled up, or two, they just don't wanna put the effort in to take the class, so I'm thinking, well, I ain't taking a class anyway, so I'm gonna jump ship, and
Yeah.
when if they're thinking, well, if I stay one more year, I'll get my raise. I don't know, don't matter to me, I'm just saying, I don't wanna give us a raise.
Yeah, cause, you're talking about tenure performance, or a couple other ways to look at it too.
Yeah.
In terms of incentives.
Mm-hmm.
How does Stanton level out with the other communities of our size around us? Are we low on the scale, are we high on the scale, are we in the middle? Where are we?
I think Billy and Grant can talk about the place.
I don't know who it compares to, everybody's pretty high, everybody's pretty, a lot bigger than us, but,
That's the thing for us, the size of us compared to
Yeah.
Winchester
Yeah,
and
that's
Sterling,
right.
you can't. When
That's
you look
right.
at Wolf County or
Yeah.
Lee County or Owsley and,
Yeah, their budgets are different. than ours.
Or
Yeah.
yes.
No, the thing about it is we wanna retain people, and we wanna retain people that are qualified for the positions and are willing to work to higher rates, then they should be benefited. So we all need to think about our budgetary items and consider those possibilities of making better salaries for a lot of folks. Because we've been way under for a lot of places. When I first got here, I found out a policeman made $11 an hour. Give me a break, folks.
it's no secret, like, a lot of people work here, it's home when they wanna work here, so they're willing to make a little less money, but then you get to a point to where, hey, I go to Winchester,
Exactly.
you're talking about, several dollars on the hour, go to state police now, you can go to, Sterling, you can go to surrounding counties and make more money, but there's benefits with working here, so I think,
It's gotta balance though.
yes, I'm saying, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Gotta be.
I'm just saying we have to be right on par with them, but as close as we can get, of course, the better from a retention.
Find the right balance, right?
Exactly, it's gotta be balanced.
I think it's like your school teachers or anything else, you know, you get good teachers in here, you get good coaches in here, you get good police officers in here, you wanna keep them.
We're also
You don't
having,
wanna go to Mount Sterling, Winchester, or wherever the
Right.
situation might be, I mean, that's just my opinion.
as you all know, I go to fiscal court meetings too, just for information purposes. They're having the same thing with EMS. I mean, the EMS people can leave here and go to UK and hire in years ago for $26 an hour.
Right.
So, you know, we're close enough, we can get to all these larger cities, so we have to feed that factor in with what our employees are making.
So,
I guess,
I'm not opposed to a longevity, ordeal, I just think I'm just trying to combat some of the past issues of getting these certifications and keeping our people trained and working here, kind of seeing some people not take efforts in getting trained, and I think financially incentivizing it would be beneficial, but that's a whole nother topic I do think we should look into as we get raises in the future to look into adopting some type of scale, so that way if somebody's thinking about leaving in their third or fourth year, they can look and say, no, if I stay till year 5, I'm getting $1 or $2 an hour. And that may help us plan too when we're doing our budget, because we can look and say, okay, which employees.
Seniority type, yeah.
And I don't care for anybody to meet with Grant or whoever here during the day sometimes or in the evening. I know there's can't but 3 of us meet or something.
Right.
But I don't care to be a part of that either.
Kind of a subcommittee.
So,
I just wanna make sure we've got a decent group of people, and I wanna make sure we're trying to do what we can to retain them. Not just in the police, the water, and our front office here.
I don't know about,
Is it something?
When they come here to look at the, the job, or they go to the interview, you put in the job description?
Yeah.
Is that what you do? Okay.
they can see more about what the future,
Okay.
more like a promise than.
And that may be more simpler to do than an education thing.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Invest
think, maybe
in-
it'd be easier that way.
Yeah.
Invest in retaining those,
Right.
Experienced and educated employees.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can educate all day long and send them to trainings, but experience is also useful.
Yeah.
It's equally as useful.
Education experience,
Yeah.
Very good. So where does this kind of leave us then? I mean, this is kind of our first real discussion about this.
Maybe the education
Council?
incentive dies, or whatever.
I think we've got a couple months that we could still put this in the.
Well, that's what I mean, I'm just trying to, what's our next step?
If we look at that, that would be a better way
Went to the
to.
workshop. Went to the workshop to work on it.
Wouldn't
We
it?
really need the information, all departments sit down and crunch the numbers and figure out what the long term is gonna be.
It's hard to get,
Cause it's a reoccurring expense in our budget, so.
that's the reason I maybe
Maybe
it would be
better.
better, because it's hard to get 6 people in here during.
Yeah, the committee, yeah, that's fine.
If you can do 3, then we don't have to call it a special meeting or anything like that.
But they're gonna have to meet with each department head or whatever.
Definitely want Grant involved in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, all
Or
departments,
his designee,
heads.
yeah,
Richard.
yeah,
And Richard.
Richard, Grant.
So, why don't we'll look at setting a time. Who wants to be, you wanna be involved? Who else? 2, 1 more?
I will.
Okay, 3, yeah, those 3.
Can the public attend?
I can do it during the day.
Yeah, the public can go to
You can
attend.
have, yeah, you can have
Public
3,
funds.
you can have 4.
Subcommittee,
Or you got 3 now.
public can attend?
That's on the majority.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
But now Billy
it's gonna
works.
take
Thank
that
you.
meeting because we don't have a quorum, but,
Yeah.
I mean, we do need to make sure that that's done appropriately.
Well, we're gonna have department heads, so we'll have more than 3 here anyway, but at least we'll have 3 from here.
Yeah.
Alright, okay, alright, we'll get that set up. Okay, the next item is the 2025-26 budget, so you should either have a copy or should have that sent to you. So this will be a first reading tonight.
I have at least a question. I saw the restaurant tax went down.
Well, the second one I moved
Did
it back
you get
up,
the
did
second
you get the
one?
second? Did
Yeah,
Teresa send you the second,
there's a
revised?
The first draft, or updated.
Okay.
The updated.
Yeah, the updated.
Yeah, I thought I seen 202,000.
It did, but with what the Bruins is paying over, when they do pay it, it'll be 220.
Gotcha. I just had a question.
That's the reason it was showing 202 first, because they used the average,
Okay.
but they've agreed to pay so much a month, that's correct, Scott Bruins. And that may be something we need to talk about tonight.
Yeah, they agreed to pay something every week, but, we haven't got anything.
I'll say that, that's ongoing litigation.
Yeah, gotta be a little
Got a
careful.
lawsuit filed on that. You guys would probably be better off to discuss that in closed session. If you want.
Well, I would like to, because I feel like it's fair to everybody else that's paying it, and this is a year and a half or something. that they're not paying it.
I just had a question on, it looked like the revenue had been cut,
Yeah,
and then it affected the park potentially.
Yeah.
I
And
was
it could be, if
if it
Brooks
doesn't come
doesn't
in.
pay, then
Yeah.
the revenue will be cut. So, but I was under the impression that they had
That
agreed
being in
to pay.
arrears.
Once again, the
Okay.
fact that we
I
have
understand.
litigation
I understand.
pending is public knowledge. You can look that up at the clerk's office, but any particulars about what's going on,
Okay.
we probably need to go into closed session.
I just had a generic question about the revenue dropping,
Yeah.
but if it's been changed and fixed, then I don't have any,
Yeah, it's
anything further
two
about
twenty
it.
now.
Okay, I was just concerned about the park losing revenue, and I was gonna maybe suggest we grab some, make sure the park.
I think at the end of the meeting, we probably need to go into close to give people, they can leave if they want, but at the end of the meeting, go into closed session.
Tommy, you kind of put this all together, you wanna kind of walk us through a little bit?
Yeah, I mean,
We've had some, increases.
we've had some increases and some, if you look in the water revenue, we've added the phase one grant for Paint Creek, the 1.952 million. If you wonder why it went from 5 to 7 something million, that's the reason over the past year. We updated the sewer revenues. We did have, what was it, 1.3, but we spent some of it, so it's now 1.1,
Correct.
whatever's in there.
9,500.
The other things are pretty much based off of last year's info, and then the 8 months we're in, you just kinda take a
Did you?
pretty good guess. And I added, 20,000 to the police department for the CSEP things, like, if we have a bunch of radios, I take it that they pay for all the repeat. What do they pay for in the, as far as radios, batteries?
CSET?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess they pay for radios,
and I know,
all the communication portions, I guess, yeah, that's the deal now.
and then I also added
They
some
bought
for the,
the computers and stuff in the past too, right?
they have done them,
They did it for my time, I don't know,
them tough books a few times to Panasonic.
maybe.
But I put in, that's the reason I put in, because
We've got,
I knew we needed some of the new laptops in the cars,
we've got,
and,
can't have the brand on there.
it was
We ain't had tough
tough
look,
books.
we ain't had tough look in a little while.
No,
Oh,
they're
okay.
G-Packs now.
G-Packs.
Okay, alright. So we haven't purchased any of them that I know of, have we?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
purchased them?
Yeah, I know for a fact we purchased one, we
Oh,
found
okay.
one, just the other day. I don't have any, we've done, for sure, one or two, in the last little bit.
Okay.
Now, before then, I don't know, they maybe Lucy said, not that I'm aware, not that I was originally
We
aware
got
of.
most of them some time ago. I can only imagine it's almost time for replacement at some point.
Have we been talking, I don't know, I think you or somebody,
No,
yeah, we've been talking about that, yeah, we're having some problems with the computers running because of the gigabyte or bills.
The RAM.
The RAM.
Range, yeah.
And
So,
last thing you
But when
want
you
to be
bought,
waiting
but when
on.
you all bought those computers, like Windows 10, I believe, was the operating system, it since went to 11, and it uses more RAM without getting too technical. And so probably do need to upgrade them at some point, but.
We don't wanna be waiting when you pull somebody over and they could be a federal warrant or something out for them, so
Yeah.
we want to.
no, I think some of them, or the guys been complaining, which, we've actually been, Billy's, I don't say computer gurus, we've been talking to a couple people about, what to do, either brand new computers or changing the RAM, and like maybe you mentioned changing the RAM, or somebody through Billy or through
Yeah,
Jimmy.
you can add additional
Uh,
RAM, it's gonna be cheaper.
because
Maybe
the,
another
I guess they've
year or
just
two
sitting there,
out.
they've been complaining, they've been sitting there spinning, they're not been working at all, hardly.
Well, I added the 20K to the police, and then I added 20K to the fire department. Cause they also use all the handhelds and their equipment, plus, be honest, I walked through there and they need a lot of equipment. I know we don't get them much, but, in the last 3 years, we went from 50 to 90, so we
Yeah.
kinda got them. We're every year trying to give them an increase in the budget,
And they usually don't spend that
but toward the end,
Yeah.
or when they get a new,
Yeah.
cause you're looking about $5,000 to.
No, I mean, they're pretty frugal with it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if they get a new
They've still
member,
got
it's like
14.
$5,000 to put them in uniform, so it's
They've
not
got
cheap.
14,000, almost 15,000, or 14,000
But-
bucks left.
But I do know that since John's been there, I think they've been putting some of the packs to the CSAP had a bunch of those, so they're getting some of the new air packs and stuff delivered to the fire departments, which,
This is gonna come up later, but could we not, use like a couple thousand of that money that we're giving them, or a little bit of it for them to check the fire hydrants?
yes, I mean, I think we talked about that at the meeting, pay them. I mean,
Yeah,
it needs to be a,
I don't wanna get off topic, it's kind
No,
of,
you're
it's coming
right.
up, but
Yeah, I forgot to mention
while
that
we're
in
on the
my,
budget,
I forgot to mention that in my report. I just contacted them and asked them if they're gonna do it this year, 2025, cause the last check was 2021, so we'll try to encourage them to do
I
it.
would like to see it done once a year, or twice,
maybe twice.
twice even better.
Well, I'll talk to them.
Yeah, I mean,
I know we had set aside some money for them to do it.
If we could give them, $1,000 each time, $3,000.
I don't have a
It
problem
just
with
depends on how many hours they do, they get paid so much per hour. If they do it like a contract, it'd be different.
I think we might, do it like a 1099, give them 2,000, whoever,
Well, and I'm also working on getting some of
I
those,
prefer it to be in firefighter.
repaired, some of them need to be repaired.
Yes.
It's not it's not like a whole replacement, which is quite expensive for a whole replacement. But I think some of those, if we can focus on that too, would helpful. But yeah, I forgot to bring that up.
Yeah, what budget item does the fire hydrants come out of? Like,
They're-
say we repair one,
Their, maintenance,
like the water department maintenance.
the water department
Teresa, is that
maintenance
what it is? Water maintenance?
and repair
yeah,
is,
yeah.
Be under maintenance.
yeah, it can either be the water / sewer, according how much funding we have in each county can come out of either one.
Gotcha.
And then, trying to think of any other change, there was really not a lot of big changes, to the budget, it's just a matter of kind of a good guess based off year prior and the 8 months you're in to and we're pretty close right now in the budget, so
It's,
We didn't have to cut anything though.
we didn't have to cut anything, we only raised things, so that's a big plus.
I think the budget's like
Yeah,
at
that's-
66% right now, and
Yes.
we're in pretty good shape.
And, if you looked at the budget, you can see about where the police department was in overtime, which was like a 25%. But a lot of that was SRO, so, and to be honest, cops won't get away with no overtime. They get caught out, so in the budget, it's a 20%. If they come in under that, which they're doing good right now, that's a good thing, but I think we budget the 20%.
Not too long ago.
Yeah, the 20% just to make sure we can cover
The department expenses and stuff, that's like the cruiser and the grants and stuff.
Yeah, that looks bad on there, we figured that out, our blessed vest was like 14,000 of it, that cruiser, so, yeah, it's all good, for some reason it shows that those coming out, but it don't show them being reimbursed.
Yeah, we get reimbursed.
Yeah, what we
Do
got.
y'all plan on getting any new cruisers this next fiscal year? We may, we should probably plan ahead for the outfitting, which that'll eat up a lot of.
Potentially, if we do, we'll, I think, I'll have to double check, I think we may be eligible for that grant for the, 60/40 or whatever, what is it, do you remember? Whatever, I think they changed their name, but it was,
USDA.
yeah, 60/40 or whatever it is,
Something like that.
70/30 or something, I can't remember what it is now, but they pay so much, we pay so much, but,
It was 80/20 the first two.
so it was 80/20.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It
last
was
one,
almost
was
free, I
80/20.
think.
So I think that's what it is, then, but, so, yeah, we probably put in, we got, I have to look, I forgot, we got a couple 19s, I think.
And when the school ends, will we have, how many cars, no, I've noticed there's 2 out here now.
Yeah, we'll have, I guess in the theory, we'll have 3, cause Don was the only one. So we'll have,
Well, I think one extra's in my opinion, in case one of them goes down.
no, we definitely need 1 or 2, pool cars. So this past week, Jake's and Garrett's both went down. Well, can't say went down. Jake's went down, Jake's fuel pump went out, and Garrett had his, air conditioning, something, condenser or something went out. And so both of them went in the shop at the same time, so.
Because, if we keep cars, they're real high on the insurance. I figured that out when I was looking at the SRO cost.
So are you suggesting we sell one?
I would suggest that, maybe, I'll leave that up to you and Grant, but
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't wanna keep a car and pay $800 a month for insurance and it's set out,
Yeah.
out here in the,
Not be you.
not be used, it just seems kinda wasteful to pay $8 or $9 for insurance on one we won't use.
We talk later, but I wonder about that truck, what's that truck showing, Dodge, is it?
If anything in a police vehicle that could be in a chase is where they really, the prices are, you know, sky high, because, you know, I know with the new thing at SRO, they got quotes, but theirs was significantly lower than ours, but they're usually not in chases or,
Like push bars and.
Right.
and all of that stuff. So,
Go to school.
yeah, the school, she got quotes and they were real low.
Police car, anyway, get here or there.
But I mean, they're typically not gonna be in a chase. I mean, I understand that.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and still, at the end of the day, it's a place to go.
Oh, I know, I'm just saying, but the insurance company looks at
Yeah.
what, you know, what's happened to us, and we've had, unfortunately, we've had,
So
what, 2 or 3 in
major.
an old chase, and not a police chase, but we had one
Chase
back
field.
out here
Yeah.
and get
Yeah.
totaled right here in front of us, so. Just a suggestion you can look in maybe for next month, see what we can get rid of, but yeah, if you need to keep one, so I understand.
One or two, I mean, cause you're driving the truck, right?
I'm like, yeah, the black one, and, we do got the truck, it's the girls drive it. We don't use it primarily for the police, but, when I have to, I'll jump in it, so.
Is it sit under the police right?
That's what I was asking a while ago, I don't know.
I'll have to check on that.
Does it have sirens and,
It does, yeah.
Lights and stuff.
I think that might be the point, if it's got sirens and stuff, it's under the police.
Okay.
Trying to just figure out what you need.
Anything else, Tom? Anybody, any questions on
Yeah,
the
anybody else have any?
25, 26 budget, first reading?
The only thing that will be updated before the second reading, we haven't got our insurance increase for our medical.
That's usually the name.
That's usually in May, so we'll have, before we do the second reading in May, we'll know. But that gives us April and May to look at this, make any changes for the final reading. But it typically 5 to 8% is what it goes up, so in the budget I put 5%.
Okay.
But if it goes up 11, then I have to adjust it.
We'll know that in May.
It's according to how many people's used then it strictly goes down to how many people's used it. That's unfortunate, but the more you use it, the more it'll go up.
Yeah.
And then also, we don't have the LG&A totals yet, do we? So there's a couple items we just don't have in yet, but we kinda guessed at them based off of the past.
Okay. I have a motion to accept the first reading of the 25, 26 budget.
Make a motion.
Second? Second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Next item is, some possible loan payoffs. Last year, I believe we worked on, at least 2. So I'd like to try to get some off the, books if we could. And this will come out of the general fund. You can see them there. Maple Street, I guess, has to do with this property, is that correct? All right. The liability insurance, help me on that one, Teresa.
We had to borrow money to pay the liability insurance.
Okay.
Years ago.
2012.
And then loan 4750 is a cruiser. So you can see the amounts there, what's it, a little over 34,000 or something like that.
Well, what was the liability insurance for 2012? What was that? You went pretty fast on that. What liability insurance was
For
that?
the city, they had to borrow money to pay the liability insurance in 2012.
In 2012, and you're just now getting the bill?
No, it's a loan.
That's a
loan.
Oh, it's a loan they took out in
Yes, yes, sorry.
2012. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm going, what?
The date was 7/1/2012.
That they took out the loan to get liability insurance.
Well, actually, it was redone in 2012. It was taken,
No, for that, okay.
remember when they done it and the payroll, like 2007? I think we
These were all-
had to redo it in 2000.
Was it? Cause on the Whitaker Bank, it's got original date is 2000.
Well, I know we paid off the payroll part, but that was done prior to '08.
Oh,
I think
You remember,
I think Tommy's right on that.
Yeah.
That's when the city was flat and broke.
And they had to borrow money to pay. Me and Dixie's first year in, the year before that, they had to borrow
Yeah.
to pay the payroll to that, so. I think that's when we had to, what do you call it, it was a balloon payment. If we didn't pay it within, we had to make it a loan, so it became a loan instead of a balloon payment at that time.
The note line, yeah.
I have a couple questions.
Stan, thanks.
Couple questions for me. One is, are we saving interest by paying them off now versus making our payments? And two, what is our general fund balance sitting at right now?
well, the interest daily is $24.
Is that on all three of them?
One of them's $48,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2448 and
and one of them's $30
$30.
a day.
So about $100 a day.
So 3,000 or 4,000 a year potentially.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's the general fund balance? You can give me a rough.
Right at 500.
I like the idea of paying off.
I do too, instead of this.
Okay, do we have to take each of these individually? Yes, okay. All right,
I make
any
a
other
loan,
questions?
I make a loan to pay, I make a motion
Motion
to
to
pay
pay.
off the loan on Maple
All
Street.
right, I have a second on that?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Motion for the liability insurance loan,
Motion.
all right, second?
A
All right.
second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Loan 4750, I have a motion on that, all right, second? All right, all in favor? All right, motion carried, any opposed, motion carried, all right. Next item is the park seasonal workers, we have, how many of these, Tommy? We got seasonal, and then we'll have one part-timer. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do we have to take these individually, or can we take them as a group? These are the city park seasonal workers.
Oh, no, are we hiring certain individuals for those positions?
Yes.
Some of them are coming back, some of them are new.
Let's just collectively put those together.
Perfect.
So
They all have
We're hiring these individuals
Yeah.
as,
We've got a list of them.
We got a list, and we got the rates, so,
let's just refer to that in the
Seasonal
motion.
persons. Well,
Tommy kinda has worked with this, so.
yeah, the first thing we would have to do is actually change. Right now, our current pay is $9 to $12. Starts at 9,
Yeah.
and it tops at 12, because we have kids starting high school that work throughout college. So they get $1 more each year they work at the park. So the first motion I would like to make is that we change that from 9 to 12 to 10 to 13,
okay.
because we're having a hard time getting them from McDonald's, because they're starting out 14, the Dairy Queen's 15. It's already,
amendment to our pay.
it's amendment to our pay scale, yes.
Is that an ordinance or just a policy?
Just a policy.
Classification.
Just,
I think it's ordinance, unless I'm mistaken. We had.
We're just amending the pay rate that had,
We okay with that?
I think we can, when will they start working?
April.
Yeah, we probably need to, that probably needs to be a 2 reading thing.
Oh,
which we
okay.
can do, but we'll do the first reading this month and the second reading next month.
Okay.
Because we have a
I think we
classification,
talked
correct?
about that,
Yes.
Teresa. Yeah.
That's what
They-
we're gonna adjust.
We're
Basically just upping it $1 on
$1.
the low end
Dollar
and high
and
end, trying, yeah.
Correct.
I mean,
Well, those that come back, I mean, they've already proved their worth, you're not having to train them or whatever goes into
yeah,
So it makes
They
sense
got their
to-
food handler license, and a couple of them have their
Right.
food manager.
So is everybody, or you got some new ones on here? Do you have some new?
I can read off the new ones, and then read it. Do we need a separate one for the new ones?
Why don't we do this? Just add them to the list and we'll attach it to the minutes. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, everybody has a list of all the pays.
Yeah, we got them on here.
Okay. Just, basically incorporate that in the motion.
Motion as a first reading?
Well, the first, yeah,
The higher, okay.
the first motion I made was for the pay scale.
Pay scale on that has to be first reading.
Yes.
All right, you have a second on that?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carried.
get the,
Now, the motion on the next one is gonna be for all the workers, correct?
I make a motion for all the seasonal workers on the right side here to start at these pays.
Okay.
Once we do the second reading of the change, I make that motion for the names listed in the $10.
We have a second on that?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carried.
And then the final one is actually
Part-time. James Cloud.
He should be on.
$10.
See it on the left-hand side.
Chloe.
Chloe, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't read.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Chloe. Chloe.
Okay,
So,
your motion for him is for a part-time
Part-time.
worker.
worker, but it's not seasonal, it's full-time work.
Okay.
We're actually hoping this, does good at the park, that we can actually move him into the water and sewer topping, because we've got an open position if you looked in the budget, so I make the motion to hire him.
All right, and a second? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Okay, thank you. Next on the city fire hydrants, any more on that, Billy?
No, like I said, I like to see it at least twice a year. Even once is better than it's been since August of 2021, correct?
Yeah.
We should at
Yes.
very least do it once a year, but I think, I'm not opposed to paying for it. If we have to pay the firefighters, they do a lot for our community, and,
I like the twice a year idea.
I do too. I think that's what I said, at least once, preferably twice. But I would want it to be structured. I would want some type of standardization on the report of, location, the status it's in, what it's doing. Kind of like the report that was sent with May.
Right.
Maybe even some pictures, potentially. But that's just me, I guess, requesting. But I guess this ain't a bad little report here.
Yeah.
It tells us where they're at and what they're doing. I see that we have a bunch of them though that's not working.
Right.
That's another thing I wanna bring up is I guess our water department fixes those.
Really, the only one that could do it would be Richard, and he's over Max right now.
Contractor one.
We have been talking I talked to Richard about an independent contractor,
Yeah, we
contracting
use
that.
Scott to help us.
Scott can do it.
I suggest that's something, give him this list, not this Scott. Can we give him this list?
He has,
Oh,
I
okay,
already talked to him.
well then,
Maybe if we could pick
How
out,
much did we say, 2,000?
that was just
that was just for getting,
checking on
checking.
them and
Okay,
stuff.
well, I'm over at that.
And we could do that as like we do the meter read, maybe we pay somebody a contract for a couple of years to do that twice a
Yeah,
year.
we've talked to him, and he can do it.
Okay, I mean, he's done work at the park and I'm satisfied with the work he's done.
Tony, does anybody know if there's any state regulations or, anything mandating that we do that within the city and all that, or?
Probably not on
I
the
don't know.
volunteer fire department, I don't know, there would be anything.
Being volunteer, I don't know, I could check on that.
I just was
It
curious.
affects your insurance premium.
Yeah, so I
That's
think
the
the fire
key.
department's got to check on, correct?
No,
It should be.
not if, they don't, I mean, that would be good if one of them wanted to check it, but,
Well, if it's within our budget, I mean, would it be
I mean,
maybe the path to take is maybe create an ordinance to require at least one time a year, if not twice a
I'm
year?
thinking a policy or an ordinance.
You know, well, how,
Maybe one.
just to make sure it's
Resolution, would that work?
I think policy or resolution would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
It's more.
who are we gonna have, do it?
Be the fire department.
And I guess probably
They would do all
volunteer,
the
I mean,
checking.
people that have the time and, to be able to do that, and I mean.
To our knowledge, are they good doing it? They have the time?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I think that'd be
they
maybe what-
did the 2021 one.
when you look at liability attached to not doing it,
Absolutely.
I mean,
I agree with Mark and Billy twice a year, if we can.
we have a history of water line breaks and things like that.
Absolutely. And so much can happen in a year's time, if we could do it.
6
Class.
months, yeah.
I would rather pay firefighters to do it than to hire a contractor, in my opinion. 'Cause
Well,
they
if
do
they
a
can
lot.
repair, but a firefighter.
You're talking about just the
will
inspection?
No, I'm talking about the
Inspection,
inspection.
yeah.
We gotta know
Yeah.
what's broke before we can repair it.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't had a report since 2021, maybe some of these have been fixed and we just don't know it. Or maybe some of these that are reported to working might not be working.
And then, on top of that, I would like to, okay, some amount of money for him to check the ones here that say, and repair them. Not just to check them, but if they said they weren't working in 21, I bet they're still not working.
And there's probably
Today.
more, that's why doesn't the city get on a regular maintenance schedule for these kind of things? That's the
that's what-
obvious things to do.
That's what we're wanting, maybe March and October, March and September.
Part of it is manpower, you know, we don't always have that manpower, and the amount of emergencies we've had here in the last 2 or 3 months, our guys, they're working
And I
24/7.
understand that, but yet again, if it's your house on fire or my house on fire, we need to have somebody there and they need to have a fire hydrant that works.
Correct. Yeah,
You know,
we're not
that
disagreeing on that.
there's, you know, that plain and simple fact. And why we haven't had a maintenance schedule in the past is pretty bad, actually.
But the only thing we can do going forward is try to implement something and
Yes,
let's get
I
it
agree.
going, let's
Right.
get it on
Get it-
paper.
Get
I
it
can-
going.
I can do a municipal order kind of detailing what we'd like to see out of the fire department with some rules. And maybe bring it to the next meeting. And obviously, we can touch base with them, make sure they can do it. I'd like to see if we're gonna pay for inspections to go to the fire department.
I would too, but the first time I would like to see that we use Scott to check them, fix, and then the next time let the fire department. He has done our overflow work for the city, like when water line breaks,
Gotcha.
so he can actually put in and work on the fire hydrant. But I do too, I believe we give it to the fire, you know,
Right.
that money.
Yeah.
But now, I will say, with the shortages the counties are having, I know Grant's probably, they go out a ton on EMT calls, or local volunteer, I mean, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4
And I don't wanna
times a
speak
night.
with them, maybe we can talk to the fire
So,
chief and.
That's why I'm
some of the leadership.
suggesting we use
That's just an
Scott.
idea, I don't think we make a decision on it tonight, I just wanted to bring it up and discuss it. And I just want,
I
maybe you can talk to the Scott guy about what it would take to fix some of these that we know is broke.
I
Yeah,
think
he always goes through and gives us an estimate. So, yeah,
I would
he's
like,
good at that.
I'd like to, do we need a motion for that? I mean, we can start at 10 or 15,000 in my opinion to give you,
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth,
for repair if needed.
for what it's worth,
I think we have to take bids on that amount of money, so I think.
35, I mean, we don't have to,
under,
30,
under,
35 now, it's went from
30,
30 to
yeah.
35.
They
35.
changed it.
but,
In an emergency, I consider this an emergency. You know, in my opinion, I would just like to okay some and have him start as soon as he could, in case there is a fire. And then when this one ain't working. 'Cause
Right.
well, again, for whatever it's worth, and we do have a federal line item, a grant that we believe is coming our way, and it has fire hydrants in there to repair and replace.
How much?
Don't know, I mean, there's 3 different, areas that are covered by the grant. The grant is $750,000. But there's repairing the water tank, you know, all kinds of things that are in that, so.
So I think getting a updated 2025 list of which ones work and which ones don't work may be the first step.
Yeah, you gotta know what you got.
Well,
I think
and
the fire
again,
hydrant's about $5,000
no,
on
I'm
average.
just, what I'm saying, Billy, is I agree with you, but let this guy do it and fix it as he finds them. Not just check them and then wait a month or 2 before we let this.
Yeah, and also don't like that, we don't have a time frame on that grant, right?
No.
I talked to him today,
The federal government could even shut down.
yeah, that's the hang
I
up.
don't
right
want
now.
somebody's house burned down next week because we're waiting on federal grant.
Well, it's an EPA grant, and the EPA has to do their study and review before they'll release it.
So it's
Yeah.
we know it's years.
I just think we have way too many.
I'm just telling you.
I do
it's
too, that's
crazy.
why.
May not be.
I would
It's
like,
there, but,
I would make a motion to,
Do we
okay,
have the money to pay that?
well, the mayor can speak, but I think 10 to 15 would be reasonable.
I think we're good. We can
Good
do
investment.
that.
A
Yeah.
good
Okay,
investment to her.
so what's your motion then?
To have Scott and repair as he checks them. up to 15. But, you know, if it's a new meter, it's something we're gonna have to quote anyway to get new plugs.
Yeah, they're,
So I say up to 15K, let him
okay.
repair as he's
See where
checking.
we're at when he reaches.
And then he'll have a list that he can repair, and then we go to the fire department and let them do it from there on out.
I'll second
Okay,
it.
second on
I'll
that.
second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We just make sure we get some type of reporting from him, I'm sure he'll track what.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He'll
Cause I'm
go,
very curious to know the current state of it as well.
And one other question, and I know you're trying to set up something new here, my question is, if this isn't in an ordinance form, will this mean that city councils 10 years from now will stop doing this again, and then we'll get in a situation where nothing's been checked for,
So-
since 20 what?
This
On
is,
that one?
what we just did today,
2021.
I'll kind of maybe explain it a little bit, is based on what Tommy's saying, is we don't really have time to wait on this. It probably shouldn't have gotten this stage to begin with.
Exactly.
We can't control that, we can't control that.
Yeah, that's
Let's
right.
move forward, let's fix it. We're gonna fix what we can with up to $15,000 right now. But what I'm gonna do, and maybe work with some of these other folks on the council, is I think that a municipal order outlining a policy. We'll talk with the fire department to see if they're willing to do the inspections twice a year. I think getting something formal in at the next month or two meeting, the next April or May meeting, and getting a municipal order passed, kind of similar like we did with the live stream, setting rules and internal policies with the city of who we want to do it and how.
You just answered my question. It's
Yes.
gonna be part of policy, so it's be something
Eventually,
that,
this
that
time, no,
will be
because
in future,
Yes.
it gives the framework in future. how
this
to do it.
time, we're just trying to,
We just need to get more information.
yes.
Understand.
And we have talked to the fire department. We don't want to
Yes.
speak on their behalf. It would
Of
be
course.
unfair to speak on their
No,
behalf.
you need everybody's input.
Okay.
Last month's meeting, state representative was here and he mentioned, grant monies, all kinds of grant monies available and this and that, so I sent him an email. Haven't received an answer yet, but, I'm wanting to know, where you go get those grant monies, point me in the right directions. I can put in I can do my part to try to secure grants, or who does it exactly?
We have a
We
grant
use Bluegrass Ad,
Okay,
Bluegrass Ad and Nesbit are usually a big,
Nesbit.
they know what grants are available.
And we do use our representative and our state senator.
But typically, apply, Jason, to answer your question, the executive branch of the government's responsible for submitting and signing. And obviously, if we find it, we would let him know about it, but.
Right, okay.
can,
Yeah.
But
right,
It has to come through.
through the executive.
Used to be a
branch.
county grant writer, we still have
We,
that
we,
stuff?
we got one that we pay $5,000 a year that and anytime I've ever asked Craig, he's helped me.
Yeah.
So I
You
mean,
have
he's
to
willing
tell,
to
you
help us
have to
right.
come up with,
Craig does.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
and he'll
Right.
write it for you.
You'll see that 5,000 that goes to the industrial is his salary.
Mhm.
You see
But
that
you have
line
to
item
have the
goes-
grant, and tell
Right.
them what you want,
Right.
you know. But
But
you'll
he will
write it.
help, Craig is a really good, he will
Yeah.
help you anyway.
Yeah.
No, we've actually done pretty well in getting grants.
Yeah.
And we really have the last couple of years.
Yeah,
That state line item grant, if we get that through, that's a big chunk of
big,
change.
yeah,
I can't tell you what it is, but it's big.
right,
Huge.
absolutely.
Okay, next is the fireworks ordinance, Billy.
Yeah, so I don't actually have an ordinance to present to you guys today. This is more of a discussion before we
Right.
get into the formalities of creating one. Our city don't have one, and I may even turn that in, I don't wanna call her on the spot, but typically we rely on the noise ordinance to handle fireworks complaints.
Correct.
Most cities, have some type of fireworks ordinance specific. There is state law that governs a lot of fireworks, issues, typically, like, there's a state law that says you can't shoot them off within 200 feet of a structure or a vehicle or whatever. So it wouldn't necessarily be that, but it's more of the time, I think, is like what a lot of cities define. Like, you allow them, and dates, like we have our 4th of July, a lot of people shoot them off on New Year's. So obviously, I think we're all would agree that we allow it, we just need to figure out what times. And I've gotten complaints, and I've experienced some of the complaints with, Some people like fireworks, some don't. We gotta find a middle ground there of, you know, we got some neighborhoods where people live close together and, you know, shoot them off after. I think a lot, what was Georgetown's ordinance, midnight on the
Yeah, that's what I was
holidays?
gonna say, there was
10
two
p.m.
ordinances I
on-
sent you that were really good on times and like the dates, they were really good examples, but it was midnight, yeah.
On the 4th of July and then in the
New
holiday.
Year's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, cause they'll shoot for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, yeah,
My dog.
yeah.
And that's the thing, most people's
That's it.
animals go crazy,
That's
you
it.
know. during-
Well, and
Our veterans, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
PDs.
and
it's the,
Post neighborhoods, because this last
Well-
4th of July, they were letting them off. And I mean, they were coming onto
Yeah,
my hot tub and
well, I heard,
deck, and I mean, I
heard
was
the
out
police
there
getting
watching,
called,
because I
they
was
was
waiting
landing
for
on
one
people's
to,
roofs.
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, just make sure it's
And I'm sorry, Greg, and I know it's gonna make it tough on you all, but it's a necessary thing. I don't think we should be shooting them off for celebrating 4th of July for 2 full weeks. Let's pick a
Ain't gonna be
day.
no worse than people walking down the street on being called somewhere best.
Somebody's gonna enforce it. I just,
Okay, anything else on that, from the council or?
I plan to maybe bring something to introduce next month. I just want, if anybody had anything, and maybe we can forward the Georgetown ordinances. I personally think most of them say midnight on the
Yeah.
holidays and 10 p.m. on,
The regular.
And then another thing they put in there was the date was around whatever, you know, cause
The
sometimes it
holiday.
always fall on the 4th, so it set it to whatever date
A
the actual
preceding
holiday is
weekend.
celebrated, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
like
think,
here, you know,
think you
you're
go
gonna
from
have to
Saturday to
celebrate on
next
Friday or
Sunday, so-
Saturday,
Yeah,
you know.
you get in that whole, if you go that whole 9-day Saturday
I
to
don't
the
think
next
anybody
Sunday.
affords it.
But I mean, if you're expecting them, you can do a little bit, but
They're
you
expensive.
know.
Anything else from the council on that?
I'll start working on that and hopefully have
Okay.
something to send everybody to chip in on next month.
All right, thank you. Next item is the review of the February year-to-date budget. Should have a copy of that. We are, should be at 66.6%, so you can look down and see the items. Some are in the income or more, some are a little less, same with the expenses. Overall, if you look at the last page, page 5, you can see that our net income, where it is in our budget and where we're at. Any thoughts, questions? Anybody? Okay, can I have a motion to accept the February year-to-date budget?
Make the motion, accept.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Wait a minute, I got
Oh.
something.
You almost got it.
Yeah.
I know.
I think I talked to everybody about hospital
Changing the
changing
time.
Oh, yeah, that's
time
right. Oh,
to
yeah.
6 o'clock meetings instead of 6:30. I mean, that's,
I'm good with it.
I'm good with, I sent you a message
Yeah.
earlier to make sure
Yeah.
it was 6:30, cause
because,
what we
you know,
got.
every other, I think everybody else is at 6 watching.
I think we have to do 2 readings on that.
Yeah,
It's a
but I
good
mean,
idea, but I think
If we could
Make the first one.
just make sure
Does it have to be
everybody.
an ordinance or a resolution?
Yeah, it has to be an
Ordinance, okay.
ordinance.
Well, we could do the first reading tonight.
Just because every other meeting in the county is at 6, and 6:30 is kinda late if you have a, you know, a long meeting and
it wasn't
stuff.
20 years ago, but it is now, no.
Yeah. I've always wanted it at 6, but I think we had somebody at one time didn't think they could get here at 6, it was gonna be pushing it and stuff.
So is that just a motion to amend the current ordinance?
Well, what we would do is an ordinance changing our meeting time to, what is it, the second Tuesday at 6
Second
o'clock as
Thursday.
opposed to.
Second Thursday.
Second Thursday, yeah. I knew it started with 10.
Yeah, second
So,
Thursday.
at 6
Okay.
So make a motion to change our meeting times to 6 o'clock on the second Thursday of the month.
I second.
6 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern Standard.
You have a second on that?
I'll second.
It's our first reading now. All right, all in favor? Okay, any opposed? Okay,
Really,
motion
I
carried.
don't know if you want to adjourn, if I did, we want to go into closed session.
Yes,
I mean,
yeah.
I was about to say that.
I don't know.
Second.
So,
I make,
Take a motion, let's see, anybody else?
I
Let
got a
me go
discussion.
first on anything else?
yes, I got a discussion on that. I think we maybe talked about this before, I think we should get up and go to another room to have a closed session.
yeah, I'm fine with that, so they can stay in here.
They can stay in here, we can
Yep.
go to another room and come back,
That's the end of the
Thank
meeting.
you, I did last time.
but still.
Suits me.
Yeah, I'm fine, we've done that before.
Yeah, you can go in my office, it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, I have a motion to go into closed session. Who's got it? Second?
I'd say.
All right, all in favor?
What's that context, to
What's it
discuss
for?
litigation?
Oh, yeah. Miss First Lady, how are you?
That's what I read, I don't know how,
You said you sent me that, right?
yeah, I sent you the state law.
They're more than there.
You gotta go. You're sleeping, go late.
we're ready.
Make a
Okay.
motion to come out for closed session.
Okay, got a second on that? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, motion carried.
No action.
No action taken. Okay, motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion.
All right, second? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all so much.
Okay, we went to the meeting the other day
Don't be blue, man.
with the, about the dam and water that,
I do, listen, I can't help it. When you've been investing in following them for all your life, you can't help it.
adding more items to our stand.